in this section here, we're just going to be doing a few examples of factoring. This first one that we have, we're looking for the greatest common factor. Let's look for numbers that will go into 8 and 20. Well, 2 goes into 8 and 20, but it's not the biggest number that goes into both of those. The biggest number that goes into both of them is 4. All right, 4 will go into 8, and it will also go into 20. Let's see. Now, as far as the variable part, well, the biggest x that they both have in common is x to the second power. So you can't pull out an x to the fourth because the second term doesn't have an x to the fourth to pull out. So, all right, now for the actual factoring part, 4 times 5, I know gives me 20, and then x squared times x squared gives me x to the fourth. All right, then we've got a minus sign this time. Let's see. 4 times 2, I know will give me 8, and then they both already have the x squared, so we are done on that one. Okay. This next one, I want to give you an example that has a trinomial. So we're looking for anything that is common to all 3 terms this time. Okay, so it's got to be common to all of them. 5 is common to the first 2, but it is not common to the second one, or to the last one. So there's actually no number that we can take out of all 3 terms. There is an x, though. So the biggest variable, or x part, that they all have in common is this x, just one x. So we're going to be factoring out an x, and that's going to leave us with 5x to the second, because it just goes down by 1 from 3 to 2, and then minus 10x to the first, and then plus just 3. So all we were doing on that one was just taking 1 away from each of the exponents. It went from 3 to 2, it went from 2 to 1, and it went from 1 to not 1 at all. All right. And in this last example here, we've got 2 variables. All right, so let's approach it like normal. Is there any number that goes into all 3 of those? Well, I know that 7 will go into 21 and 14, so that's the biggest possible number that I could anyway. 7's the only number that goes into them. It looks like they all have an x. The biggest x that you can take out would be 2 of them. So x squared is the biggest x that we can take out. And it looks like they also all have a y in common. And since the first and the third term only have one y, that's the biggest y that we can take out. All right, open some parentheses. Let's make a different color here. All right, 7x squared y times, well, I know 2 is going to get me to the 14 that I need. From x squared to x to the 8th, that's going to be an x to the 6th is what I need. And the y is already taken care for us. There's one y here, and there's one y there. All right, for the next term, 7 times 3 will give me 21. This one has 2 x's, that one has 3 x's, so I only need 1 x to get me there. This one has 1 y, but the middle term here has 2 y's, so I am going to need a y on the middle term. And then I've got, that's it for that second term. Plus, well, there's a 7 here and a 7 there, so that's just a 1, but we don't have to put it because we're going to be having variables as well. Oh, actually, no, we're not. It's just a 1, yeah. Because 7 times 1 gives us 7. X squared times 1 gives us x squared. And y times 1 gives us y. That's it.